Full Street Swag Sunday, your homie Chris Cole, the man behind the brand. I mean, we can go down the list. I mean, we can talk about CKB. We can talk about LATEX.
We can start at the beginning. You can start with CKB.
We can start with CKB.
Yeah.
Mr. Rickey Booker is in the building, man.
What's up, Chris Cole, what you doing? I'm gonna talk like the rappers do. What you doing? What up in here? I'm up in the house. We got the piece going on. No, let me get to my regular midnight oil voice. What's up, Chris?
Yeah, you got the midnight love voice.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. How did it get started, though, man?
Well, man, when I first moved to Dallas, I think it was around 93, 94. I hooked up with some guys. One was my cousin and a guy out of Florida named Maurice Barber. Mm-hmm. Tony Briggs was from my hometown. Roy Mims, which is my cousin, had a piece called Wino Records is what we actually started. We had an office up in the Twin Towers, the White Towers on 35 in Inwood. If anybody know about the Twin Towers,
right on.
They all white. It's like 3 of them. But anyway, we went with that for a little bit, and we played around with his brother. Had some 2 Live Crew music because they both was from Florida. And when that time, it just kind of started fading. I wasn't interested in it anymore, and I ended up losing my sister in 95 in Oklahoma City bombing.
Wow.
And with that point of it, I still had the love of music, so I still kind of wanted to base it around that. So I took her name, and I wanted to keep her name alive. So the CKB is my sister's initial. She got killed in Oklahoma City bombing in 1995.
Oh man,
and it started
history right there.
Right, and it started as CKB Records, and then I flipped it to CKB Entertainment.
Okay, cool, man. So, I mean, what was the main inspiration behind getting into the game? You know what I mean? What was it? Just when your homies, because they was part of the Miami-based movement, that when you was just trying to back them, or was it just something when you was coming up like I always wanted to do?
It's just the love of music. It's something that I always wanted to do from when music transitioned from cassettes to CDs.
Yeah.
It's a quick brief of my history too. You know, I was married into a family. You know, Tony Thompson, rest in peace. He was the lead singer of High Five.
Right
so
on.
You know, I was around there. My brother-in-law was a road manager. So you know,
right
back in
so
those days,
yeah, grew up in it.
Yeah,
you know
yeah, I was in that.
Right on. Kind of almost didn't have a choice. It's like, this is what you're gonna be doing. You know what I'm saying? I respect that, man. Same thing with me. You know what I mean? Like my uncle was a record executive at Virgin, and even back then, when you go back to MC Breed days and all of that, you know, he's behind a lot of that stuff. So he was a PD, you know what I mean, in Mobile, Alabama. So a lot of my summer vacations was spent in executive offices and just learning the game. And I remember using the carts for commercials at the radio station them days. I go back like that,
Yeah, so
you know what I'm saying?
Sitting on the stool.
Yeah, going to old summer jams and Gerald Levert back there, rest in peace.
Big days, man. When summer jams was live, you couldn't wait to get out of school for the summer year because you know the radio station, whatever city you was in, was gonna have the stars. You know, those days is not around anymore. But you know, the love of music. Man, I can sit here and tell you all night the stories and the deals that I was attached to, and some of the artists that I managed.
Right.
That was attached to some deals that other artists that's big names to this day got the deals that my artists that I had signed was supposed to get.
Let's talk about it. Let's go ahead and get straight into that right there. Because, you know, CKB, we know how you got there. We know what the initials stand for now. You know, so after that was formed, what was next?
Actually, I'm originally from Oklahoma City, too, as well. I guess y'all could put that together, being my sister was in the building in Oklahoma. But I had this little group in Oklahoma City named 40 Ounce Click.
Okay.
You know, and if you from Oklahoma City, you know we was really influenced with West Coast music, which I still have love of West Coast music.
Right on.
And these guys was pretty much similar to the Dog Pound. They was 16 years old, 17, and they was real, true, banging Crips. I'm talking about they lived it, they rapped about it, and all that.
Yeah.
And back in those days, I had got what they call a 3-track demo, where you get turned in a 3-track demo deal to record companies. And Tony Thompson's manager, which was Jonathan Kinlock at the time, was getting ready to sign a deal with Elektra Records with Sylvia Rome, if anybody know those names. So I was attached to those days. And he had a producer named Delight. They signed a production deal called 2000 Watts, which he was responsible for LSG's music, Link, Shy, Silk. With that being said, we did a 3-track demo with Delight with 2000 Watts music and was supposed to turn it into Sylvia Rome. So when I got the group here in Dallas and they started recording, my cousin Haji, that was his name, Haji, but you know, they had Crip names, you know, everything ended with Lope. Squeaky Lope, Tiny Lope, but you know, back to what I was saying. Haji started recording, he had this real awkward sound. I said, bro, what are you doing? We're not doing that. You can't change and flip the music. Like, you got to stick to the program. And he said, I'm not sticking to it. I'm standing, you know, me, back then I was hot-headed to where if it wasn't my way, it was the highway. I'm kind of still like that, but I ain't as bad as I was, but because of the story I'm going to tell you. So I pulled the plug. We didn't get the demo turned in time. So maybe 6 months to 7 months later, the same awkward rap style a dude out of Louisiana came out with, and he blew up. And that was Mystical. Yeah. Like, and my cousin right there, was already on that tip. Yeah. And I thought he was just high on some dip. Yeah. And flipped it, but he was already on that, and I was too stubborn to just let the artist be the artist. Right. And with that transition, I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna stand out the way. So we had another opportunity to turn the deal into Queen Latifah. Back in them days, if you remember, it was a record company called Tommy Boy Records. Tommy Boy was doing a lot at that time. Yes. Man. And they got one of the most iconic, dopest hip-hop logos. Yes. That Tommy Boy logo was everything for me when I was a kid. So you do know them. You young, but you still not understand that process. Yeah. No, I'm hip-hop baby for real. I see. I was listening to Rakim
the other night on the way to the club. Yeah. I wasn't listening to no trap. I was listening to Rakim. Yes, no, I'm hip hop for real. To have music and hip hop run through your bloods and be your age, you kind of young, but you know that's what I mean by sometimes a lot of artists, they understand but they don't get it. That passion that comes with it, just kind of like you saying now, similar to yourself. Music is always been my life. I never rap, I never wrote music, I can't produce, but I got an ear. And engineer nicknamed me Mosquito Ear one time because I hear stuff doing the mix that a lot of people don't hear. But, you know, back to what I was telling you about the Tommy Boy and Queen Latifah, well, we had another opportunity to turn the 3-track demo in, and I was going to use the 3-track demo that, you know, 2,000 Watts had. You know, at this time, but, you know, by this time, the Light was in New York, and they was doing big things. You know, he had sat down with big name artists now. They wasn't trying to give me my 3 tracks because they own it. So I couldn't get that and get them recorded and get the 3-track demo to Queen Latifah. So they quit answering the phone. And the deal that we was going after, another big name got the deal. Naughty by Nature. But everybody knows you down with OPP. That was man. So in it's a lot of things. Like I said, we can be here to midnight talking about the things that I was attached to and the artists that I had deals with. So I've been right there. I've been right there.
So what was that break?
Well, the breaking point on this point, I dealt with records and dealt with artists. You know, I put out a record with a gentleman named Teaspoon, which was a childhood friend named Tony Briggs, and we put a record I called Dirty Third, and it took its course. And music, when you get part of it and you a record executive, a manager or whatever you want to call it, it's an addiction. It's a drug. You got to find that artist in that record. And you know, back in that, you know, probably about 2006, 2007, this kid, my son was cutting his kid's hair, and he used to bring me music all the time. And I was like, man, every time you bring me music, you got 100 people on it, and then you in the background, barely can hear you. Man, don't bring me nothing else over here. Yeah. So it was. I can remember this like yesterday. It was on Thursday night. He was getting his hair cut because my son had turned my kitchen into a barbershop back in them days. Yeah. And I said, man, I am not trying to hear. He said, no, just listen to this one, Rick. Just listen. It's me and only me. So, you know, I went in my garage and turned the song on, put it in the car, and I was like, whoa, what is this? Yeah. And so I flipped it. Called my brother-in-law and said, hey, man, you got to listen to something. I'm going to drive over to your house because he stayed about a block from me. We put it in there, and he listened to it and said, where'd you get this from? I said, man, that's B-Ham. He said, you got a decision to make. And by this time, I was managing this cat out of Fort Worth called Aquaman, and he had a song, Straight to the Rim Shop, and, you know, I had deal. Matter of fact, The Light with 2,000 Watts produced it. So, you know, we had this record. So I called up a local DJ and said, man, I need you to come to my office in the morning. I need to let you hear something. He pulled up by noon, and the local DJ was G-Rock. He listened to it and said, everybody know G-Rock, where'd you get this from? Yeah. Who's this kid? And I told him, and to this day, people know the record was due to Ricky Bobby, and G-Rock took it. And in my car, sitting next to me, called DJ Drop with Definition DJs. So I'm telling y'all, G-Rock, Definition DJs. G-Rock called him, and Drop said he wanted to hear it. Me and G-Rock went and ate, and there it is.
I was in the building. I think it was the club in Arlington that got burned down. 412 or something like that. I forget what it was called.
Division 424. Yeah. Hood club boy.
When B-Hamp used to come in there and try to get Ricky Bobby played, he be in the DJ booth, I be in the DJ booth. Everybody be in the DJ booth trying to get their record played. I remember B-Hamp. This was the Cirque days. This was the Shay days. You know what I'm saying? This was the come up of Fat Pimp, and yes, this was legendary times. I remember when B-Hamp was working that record, man, and to see what it grew to be, I didn't know you was behind it. So that's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
And I won't say the awkward thing, but the funny thing, his name was Brandon Hampton.
Yeah.
And then when I figured out the producer, I think at the time he was 16 or 17, his name was Brandon Henshaw. And y'all know him these days as Young Star Beats. And at the time, he wasn't even old enough to get in some of the clubs and the joints we was going to. Mm-hmm. But he was with us. Young Star produced it, and both their name was Brandon. Mm-hmm. So, I guess when destiny is meant to happen, it just happens. It doesn't make a difference when it happens. But they always say music is always about timing. Right. And that's what happened. And due to Ricky Bobby, it went everywhere. It took 1 second to where he let me hear it on a Thursday night. I let the DJ hear it on a Friday night, and he was performing it on a Sunday night at Rhythm City, which Rhythm City was super back in them days.
Rhythm City was popping.
Yeah.
Lil E and Drop used to be in there, man, doing the fool, bro. Man, a lot of pill popping going around in that bitch too.
Yeah, the groups MBR, The Row. Man, let's go on back in them days.
Man, had a lot of fun in Rhythm City, man. DMX days. Yeah, man, for sure. Hey, so what happened after Ricky Bobby though? You know what I mean? What was next?
The next thing is, something that's like I say, you find yourself chasing your next record. B-Ham dropped, man, I can't even count no more. Several records from Foolie to Got a Lotta, the record after record after record, nothing never called, but he stayed working hard and bringing me the records, and from that point, Fat Pimp moved back home, and him and Hamp was hanging out, and Fat Pimp, stayed in Houston, so that's where he was at, and he moved back home, and he was wild and reckless and talking that noise to every other DJ. He was back home, so he was hanging out with us, and I said, you know what, man, I can't figure out to get all the DJs. All the DJs was playing the B-Ham records. I said, but it's almost like you had to be in the building, and so they shout you out and play it. So I said, man, we're going to get our own DJ. We're going to get our own DJ coalition. Yeah. We're going to get our own club to play our own music. And B-Ham looked at me and said, how you going to do that?
Campus Kings.
Well, then, to these days, everybody know Club Pier. And I heard about this white kid that was doing phone parties in Denton.
Facts.
And I was like, man, this dude is all over. Matter of fact, the first time I ever seen the phone party, he was doing phone parties. It was stupid. I mean, in a little house on the back road off campus, you had to drive down a dark street and go down the corner. You know how everybody say, man, go down that corner to a little store and you see the dog and the statue turn right. And then we pull up in at this house that they turn in the club. They call DV8, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, DV8.
Yeah, UNT, man, it was stupid packed. I said, I'm looking for Frosty. And Frosty came and I said, man, we need to talk. So the next day we went and sat down at Rudy's Barbecue on 35 in Denton.
Right.
And Frosty became B-Hamp's official traveling manager. Traveling DJ. And from that point, we created Campus Kings, which he already had 4 or 5 DJs. Dupree, the name goes on, Static, Richie Rich. We had like 6 DJs, and they were breaking records. Right. Wasn't getting credit for them because everybody looked at them and they was just getting college DJs, but they was breaking records. I can go and list the records, man. True facts of Frosty broke beat from the Beat Kings to ME.
Yeah, so when Campus Kings was being formed, I met Frosty at Central Grill, right there by Rock and Rodeo in Denton. And he's like, man, I'm about to start my own little crew. We're gonna call it Campus King DJs. I was like, why Campus Kings? You know, just going through the whole little spiel. Cause, bro, we the ones on campus. If I can get the right DJs together, then shit, we can run through all these colleges. Yeah. We can be the real, like, official coalition of DJs, you know? And I was like, so I remember the genesis of watching that shit being born. You know what I'm saying? So when by that time, he was already doing phone parties at behind where they do the little state fair in Denton. You know, they got their own little state fair grounds and shit. So I remember that. So by the time they got to DV8 when you came in, yeah, they was breaking records. That was smart as fuck. That was smart as fuck. I appreciate that, man. That's knowledge right there. That's good, man. What else happened after that, man?
Well, to that point, and when I said that we want to get our own spot, I went over to Club Period. I remember they had a Saturday night available. I said, no, we want a Friday. We need a Friday. And AJ, I remember saying, and Alonzo said, why Friday? And I said, because, man, school, colleges, I'm targeting colleges. I got Campus King DJs, they work at colleges. And we want to do a Friday night. That way they can drive up here and they coming from Denton, it'd be Saturday. You can have the Saturday, I just need Friday. They said, okay, we'll give you Friday. And I remember it was Christmas Eve, they gave us Friday. And I said, we're going to do this campaign. And Jay Cruz, matter of fact, you know, I can I say Jay Cruz business across the street?
You can't, but
okay.
You can for that camera, maybe.
Okay, the Puerto Rican dude that's over at the other station across the street, but he was the host. He was new to the city. And me and him chopped it up, and I told him what I do, and I said, we're going to do another campaign. We're going to go get a purse. Be him. We're going to video this, put it on YouTube, because them days we didn't have the IG and all the stuff they got now. Yeah. And we're going to buy a purse, and we're going to give it to a girl for Christmas Eve. It's a Friday, December 24th. We set that campaign up for 2 weeks, blew it up.
Yeah.
And the only people came, I'm kind of like Bugsy Siegel when he started at Flamingo. Yeah. Only people came to that club that night was the staff.
Yeah.
Nobody was there but the staff. And I walked up to my host and said, here, man, here's your money. He said, you still going to pay me? I said, yeah, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. Mm-hmm. And I went and told the club owner, said, man, give me 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. You know, back then, you know, I had my little nephew Luke. He was with ATF. We had Isha Ray with Raise Up. I went and recruited all of these. I said, okay, if Young Tone can put 500 people in the club, Frosty can put 500, ATF can put 500, that's 1,500 people. Mm-hmm. And they were looking at me like, man, we can't do it. I said, man, if we put 2 people in this club till we put 2,000, we're going to do it. Yeah. And the club gave me 5 weeks. And the 3rd week, we had a line down at that 7-Eleven on Main Street.
Facts.
We went 2 years strong. We helped build a Shark Bar.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, that is the facts.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I can talk all day long that the stuff that I was involved in. I mean, I don't care about all the videos and the cameras. I don't want to do nothing. I just work. I put my head down, and then when I look up, I see all the accomplishments. I'm not trying to be, like they say, come over to CKB if you don't want the CEO in all the videos, and he booking you to put all his cars and charging it back to the account. I ain't about all that, man. I'm ready to work.
LATEX. Tell everybody about LATEX. What's going on? How did this happen? What was the idea behind it? I mean,
this was a trip. There's another stories where someone, Frosty was attached to National Classy. Rest in peace, Wody. Everybody know Wody, Erskine, a good friend of mine, man. We miss him and we love him, and he's with 909 Entertainment, and Frosty was disconnecting with them, and my nephew again, him and Luke came to me and said, hey, we need you to find a venue for us, we got this idea for LATEX. And I said, what is that? Why you gonna do a party about a condom, you know? Mm-hmm. They said, no, that's Louisiana, Texas. We're gonna do the Grambling Preview weekend. So I started going looking for venues, and I got aggressive. And I said, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it big. We got to get the convention center. And they said, you crazy? I said, well, I'm going to the convention center. I drove down and went to the convention center. And they said, someone already got it locked. We can't give it to you. I said, who? Maybe I buy him out. Who? And they said, we can't give you that information. Yeah. So I went out of the parking lot of the convention center, 10 minutes, and my phone rang. And it was Al Wash's office. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, Rickey, this Rickey Booker? And I was like, yeah. He said, Al Wash want to speak to you. And I said, Al Wash, the promoter that do the Grambling Preview football game? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, right. Get off my phone with that crap. No, for real. He want to talk to you. And I was going to hang up. So he got on the phone. And if anybody know Al, he get on the phone. Al Wash. You know, he old school, laid back, you know, just straight to the point, facts. I understand you looking to do a party. And I said, yeah, I need to do a party. So this really Al on my phone? He's like, yeah. I ain't no superstar, no celebrity, man. Let's chop it up and do some business.
Yeah.
I said, when can you talk to me? I said, I'll come to your office right now and give me the address. So I went down to his office and come to find out at that time he had Skip Cheatham booked because he was going to throw a party himself because the city was asking him to do a party to take the college kids. He had Skip Cheatham and he had Bebe. And he said, you cool with these two? Because Bebe had this idea too. And I said, yeah, I'm cool. Let's get it going. So it was a 50-50 split. Bebe was on it, and Bebe gonna be the voice of it. And we came and we created the LATEX situation. And man, unfortunately, I won't say rest in peace, but unfortunately, at that particular time, that was Skip's last role too. We missed him, but anyway, Bebe came in and we made LATEX. Started LATEX 2K10 or 9, then 11 or whatever it is, and it's been 2K ever since. And this coming up is gonna be 2K18. And that was the foundation of LATEX, and that's how it got started. Came up with the idea with Frosty and my nephew Luke, and Al Wash contacted me because I was looking for a venue, and Bebe was connected to it, and then next thing you know, Bebe became the brand with us and the voice of LATEX, and that's what you know to as of today, and it grew into the largest party. We promoted it. We was gonna do the world's biggest party, and we had Al Wash contacted the World Book of Guinness Records and said that we was gonna put it in there as a record. And the second year, we was telling people we doing 8,000 people. Somebody called a fire marshal on us, and by the time they called a fire marshal on, the clicker already had us at 6150, and that was without our artists. We did that nothing but a college party.
Damn.
So about 2,500 people got turned away. So we would have did the 8,000 the second year, which would have been LATEX 2K11.
Yeah, so y'all was going to break that record.
Yeah.
Y'all was damn.
Yeah.
That's hunger, that's drive, that's dedication. You know what I mean? So we know the history, we know all of that, what you was a part of, what you still are a part of, but let's talk about what you are participating in building right now.
Okay.
King of motherfucking Diamonds.
Yeah, King of Diamonds, man, it was kind of thrown in me and my partner's lap. I won't say thrown. We got phone calls, and I think you get those phone calls that way when you have relationships and people understand your work ethics, and they feel like if they want you a part of something, they make you a part of something. Once we got the phone call, it's just like always. It's just the direction that God have each individual in. You can't, I'd say this real quick. No one can tell any man or woman what direction they gonna go in. That your life is playing the day you leave from your mother's womb. You just got to figure out and understand the direction that he have you in. You can go left or right. Just stay on that path. Everybody want it now. We get impatient. That's human nature. And I've just stayed with that path that God had me on. A lot of people don't like my decisions because I make decisions sometimes irrational about how I want things, but I don't mean no harm. And when we got the call with KOD, and this is a brand that I didn't believe because everybody know KOD from Miami. Right. Now we getting ready to be part of a KOD Dallas. What is you saying, man? Is this for real? Let me pinch myself. Let me go get me some coffee from 7-Eleven. Yeah, for real. So, and when we finally got the keys, it was real. And we started renovating it, and it was real. And we were able to go in and doing what we doing, sign the papers and sign off the papers, and did what we did. It was real. So we had word that you had at that time with 3 guys didn't know what they were doing, running a strip club. But I've always started business, and I got businesses to that. I've been GMs at corporate companies, so I understand the philosophy of building a business. I don't care if it was a rubber band company. We got to figure out how to make people buy our rubber bands. So, but what people didn't understand, we were formal promoters that was already doing events in the city, so we understood the lifestyle on how to promote, to bring people, to build that hype around people to come to your business outside of other strip clubs that was already here. What's going to make us different? So our way of thinking is what created what we have now, from the social media, from the way we brand, the way we promote, the way we take stuff subliminally and put in our pictures, put in our videos, the way we took a company which once was known as a strip club, still is, and turned it into a club environment. So when you come to KOD from 9 to 1, you clubbing, you dancing and throwing money at the same time. You're not just sitting there watching the girls bust it open.
Right.
You actually sitting there drinking and dancing with your partner and meeting women, because it's just that many women as guys coming to the strip club. So if you coming to the strip club and you not meeting a girl, and you think your fantasy is being sold because the girl that's on the stage, you tripping. It's pretty women and beautiful women coming there. So we built our brand around getting the working man, the college student, and the trap guy all in the same building at the same time till 5 a.m.
Right.
And we went from not promoting as an after hour spot, but promoting as we open up at 9 p.m.
Right.
Somewhere to party and eat.
Just had a sold out show with Plies.
Absolutely, it was a beautiful thing, man. Dallas was out. They came out, you know, they acted ignorant for a little bit, and Plies drove off and left. But you know, that's the nature of the game. I would have did the same thing if it was my artist sitting there. We got to protect the investment. So being that I'm one of the owners of KOD, I had to protect my investment and get the parking lot cleaned up and move around and get that investment back in here before Dallas really got ignorant and made us look like that we was janky promoters.
Yeah, real. I can't let them mess up the bag.
No.
Not at all. You can't mess up the bag, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's a good rundown of history of a lot of things that you've done, man. And I just want to say it's quite inspiring, you know, for myself to see a lot of the things that I've known about be revealed to me who was behind it. You know what I mean? How it happened, and to see the passion behind it, and to know that you really come from the culture. This is hip hop for real. It's a lot of bitch ass vultures. I hate fake niggas, man. I can't stand fake niggas. I can't stand niggas getting in this motherfucking game just taking it as a joke. This is our culture. You know what I'm saying? Nigga live and breathe this shit. And you know what I'm saying? You come from it. And I appreciate it. You know,
and I appreciate you just having me in here and doing what you're doing. What you just said, you sounded like a guy that I drove, that I picked up. And this, usually we have our event coordinator pick up our artists and drive them around, but I had to drive him around, pick him up around. DJ K Slate, you sounded like he did, man. Sitting next to him, man, the whole time, driving him around, picking him up at the airport and taking him to his hotel, man, it was like sitting next to hip hop itself. I had the chills, man. The stories that he was telling me and Fat Pimping us when he was here, man, the dude is real. The dude done been from doing the Puffy deals, doing the 50 deals, doing all the big names from Papoose to Remy Ma to Joe to Fat Joe, and I'm sitting next to him hearing his stories. Oh man, it was amazing. It was amazing.
K Slay, bro. That's hip hop history, nigga. If you don't know who the fuck DJ K Slay is, nigga, stop rapping, nigga. Nigga, stop rapping. I'm serious. I don't give a fuck how young you is. All of that, I'm too old, or these niggas too young. Nigga, this is hip-hop. Nigga, just shut the fuck up if you don't love the culture. All that generational gap, I ain't trying to hear it, nigga. I fucks with the Lil Pumps, nigga, and I fucks with the goddamn Kumo D's. If it's hot, it's hot.
It's real.
Give a fuck. Yeah. You niggas is bullshitting out here, for real, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for stopping through.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to get as much of this interview as I can on. And I got a lot of motherfucking cutting and chopping to do right now, man. But for real, I appreciate you, man.
I want to say one more thing real quick. I want to shout out my KOD staff, my family. I know my family right now don't understand some of the decisions I made in the past year, but it's light at the end of the tunnel for all of us. I love y'all. Shout out to my artist, Fat Pimp, my business partner, Whitehead. I hear you and I see you and I feel you all the time when we have those conversations. Don't think that I don't do. I love you. And, man, let's get to it.
That's what that is. Street Swag Sunday, Chris Cole. The man behind the brand, Rickey Booker. CKB. Bang. Shout out Reallyfe Street Stars, nigga. Move it. Hey.